Good morning, Capital City Baptist Church. I just wanted to wish all of you a happy Thanksgiving, a little bit early, of course. We still have some time before that, but this Sunday we're going to be celebrating, our Thanksgiving before the Lord and before each other. And I wish that we could be all together, as we had planned, but circumstances are showing that we're not going to be able to, at least not this time around. But I want to tell you how very grateful I am for all of you, for our church. I love our church, and I love being here with all of you. So I'm very grateful for you, and I'm very grateful for this church that God has allowed to be. Anyway, I just wanted to share a few thoughts from God's Word, and but before I even go into that verse, I wanted to just speak a little bit about America. What a gift it is to be an American and to live in this country, which is so blessed by God. I'm so glad that we set aside a day, which is Thanksgiving, to be able to celebrate our God and to thank Him for all His goodness. And I'm also really encouraged and happy to know that we're not the only country that celebrates Thanksgiving, or at least has a day in which they also set aside to thank God. So, thinking about our country, we know that Thanksgiving was something that was begun by the Pilgrims, right? When they first came to this nation, or this territory we call America, they came and they started celebrating God's goodness, and it's become a tradition ever since. But it kind of reminds me of the fact that our language, English, is something that actually came from England, right? When that language came here, it was spoken the way that they speak over there. But somehow, the language changed. Here in America, we have a Southern accent, we have a Bostonian accent, we have an accent from the people who live in the Midwest. Here in California, we brag and say that we don't have an accent, but you talk to anybody in those other states and they'll say we have an accent as well. I don't know. I think we speak fine, but they say we have an accent as well. And you go to other states as well, and they all speak just a little bit different. But the wonderful thing is we do understand each other. So that's wonderful. But that reminds me of something. We lost our British accent. How come I don't speak like a person from England anymore? Or you, for that matter? What happened? Well, when the language came to this country, somehow it just slowly but surely changed. But we still understand each other's. We still understand the same words, just a little bit different when it comes to our accent. And that's the wonderful thing about the language. We still can understand each other's, even if it is more of a British accent, more of a Aussie accent, more of a Southern accent. It doesn't matter. We still understand each other. Well, that kind of reminds me of the gift of gifts that we have in Jesus Christ. Our gift of gift is our salvation. And the Lord tells us to do something with it. I want to read something for you. It says like this in Philippians 2:12. It says, "So then, my beloved, just as you have always obeyed, not as in my presence only," right? "But now much more in my absence, work out your salvation with fear and trembling." Now, some might think, oh, that's talking about us earning our salvation, or doing something so we can get salvation, or become more saved than the next person. No, we know perfectly well that our salvation is not based upon anything we could have done, ever done, or could have done. Our salvation is based upon grace. It's based upon a gift that God gave us. So that's not what that's talking about at all. Our salvation is secure, not because we deserve it, but because God gave it to us. But it is giving a term that I like a lot. It says, work out. Work out. When we go to the gym and to work out, we get what we put into it. If we spend the whole time just on the treadmill, kind of slowly walking and watching TV, we might get a little bit out of that, but probably not a whole lot. But if you go to the gym and you hit it for an hour or two and just keep hitting it and hitting it, it's going to reflect on your health and on your body. Our salvation is a gift, but what we do with it and what we put into it is our responsibility. If you put a lot into it, you're going to get a lot out of it. And it's going to show, it's going to reflect. Likewise, if you put very little or nothing at all, it's also going to show. It's also going to reflect. Our salvation is a gift, but it's our responsibility once we receive it to do something with it. If we give nothing to it and put nothing into it, will we even be recognized as a believer? But if you put into it, you will shine like the believer that you are meant to be. Are we not supposed to be the salt of the earth and the light of the world? God has called us to be those things. But how can we if we're not putting anything into our salvation? Again, not that we're earning salvation. The salvation has already been given. But we're growing. And if we're not growing, then we might not be reflecting Jesus Christ at all. So I urge you, take your salvation and grow it. Grow it for His glory. And since we're talking about food and eating and drinking and whatnot in the next couple days, here's another verse that I hope will be a blessing to you as well. Remember this, from 1 Corinthians 10:31, it says, "Whether then you eat or drink, or whatever you do all to the glory of God." Working out your own salvation. Thanks again for your time. May God bless you. And I look forward to seeing you, I guess, in cyberspace for now. But God willing, once we get together again, I look forward to seeing you then as well.